Good afternoon to Chairman Brock, President Jealous, members of the NAACP National Board of Directors, members of the NAACP Special Contributions Fund Board of Trustees, and good afternoon to everyone here for Leadership 500. My name is Aristide Collins. I'm Vice President of the University at the George Washington University in our nation's capital, Washington, D.C., and it's my pleasure to welcome all of you to this NAACP Leadership 500 luncheon entitled Where Are the Voices? A Roundtable Discussion on Advocacy in Entertainment. We know that we're in for an interesting and enlightening conversation this afternoon. Before we begin our program, we will be blessed with an invocation by Minister Abdul Rahim from Baltimore, Maryland. Minister.
Thank you, and please bear with me. I just got my throat, but we're going to get the job done. Amen. Bow your head. But the name of God, most merciful benefactor, most merciful redeemer, we come to you this morning to first of all thank you for the blessing of life. Thank you for the soul and the mind that you've given us as your vicegerent. Thank you for intellect, the ability to distinguish right from wrong. Thank you for legacy, those who came before us, that we may enjoy the life that we live today. Thank you for bringing each and every one of these souls to the great state of Florida safely. And we actually, even early, send everyone home safe. We thank you for this great movement, the NAACP, its leadership, and the purpose for which we've all gathered. Lastly, we thank you for the nourishment from the movement. Bodies keep us focused as to why we're here. And most of all, we appreciate these young folks who we know is the future. In your holy and righteous name, amen. God be glory.
The support of our sponsors are extremely important as we plan and execute events and conversations such as these. We appreciate the willingness, interest, and partnership of our luncheon sponsors, Wells Fargo Bank and Comcast NBC Universal. To bring greetings on behalf of our sponsors, we have Tony Williams, Director of Governmental Affairs at Comcast, and Carl Miller, Regional President, Wells Fargo Company, Greater South Coast. Gentlemen, would you come up and give greetings?
Thank you, Aristide, and thank you to Chairwoman Brock. You symbolize, really the leadership and the power of youth in this project. Leadership 500 is just a phenomenal project, something that we at Comcast and NBC Universal stand behind 110%, and so proud to be part of. One thing I did want to say is also just thank you to everyone else for coming here. Your presence here, having that next generation step up and step forward and to lead is so very important. But at Comcast, we are invested not just within NAACP, but also with the African American community around the country. Over the past 10 years, we've invested over $1.2 billion in broadband to build out lines and bring speeds to all of your homes, all around you, connect you to the internet, to create new businesses, whether it's Google, Tumblr, the internet, that's someone from the room here. All these are based upon connectivity and based upon broadband. And we want to encourage others to play that same role in investing in communities, investing in jobs, and we want and are proud to have your partnership in doing that. So thank you guys again, and thank you, Chairwoman Brock, for creating this opportunity for us, and look forward to meeting you guys all around this weekend. Thank you.
That microphone doesn't work for me. I'm a little tall. Excuse me. So welcome to Florida. Again, I'm Carl Miller, the Regional President for Wells Fargo. which means I run the operations for our company on the west coast of Florida, actually all the way from Clearwater south of Naples. So you're sitting right inside of the region for the Greater Gulf Coast region. So I really appreciate that you've taken the time to come down and be a part of this important conference. It's a little nice today outside. You notice it was about 88 degrees. A little change for a lot of people. I'm actually originally from Washington, D.C. is where I was born and raised, and so you have to adjust to these temperatures over time. But I've been able to do that. So I want to share with you a couple of things about why Wells Fargo is excited to be a sponsor again this year for this event. Just like everybody in this room, we are interested in making sure that all parts of the community continue to learn and grow and prosper. And even in tough economic times, we want to make sure that we're doing the absolute most things that we can do to help people remain in homes, get jobs, get financial education, and be great stewards of the community. And I couldn't be more proud at the number of young people, young by my definition, that are sitting here in our audience today. It's an incredible accomplishment to have you here with us in Florida today. So let me share just a couple of things about what we're trying to do in the community at Wells Fargo to support overall economic prosperity. First of all, since 2009, you may already know this, but Wells Fargo has helped over 8 million customers purchase or refinance a home in this great country. That includes 1.4 million customers who may actually own more on their home than our home is worth at this time. We take a great deal of pride in being able to support the HEART program. We've also worked very hard to make sure that we can modify home loans where necessary and even do some principal forgiveness for some of our community citizens. We will always be there to help people prosper in tough economic times. And then last but not least, you may have heard about our Neighborhood Lift program that has happened in major cities all around America. And that's intended to help responsible homeowners get into homes in communities where we're struggling to build home ownership. We continue to do very well on that front. And actually this morning I received some good news. We continue to be America's premier small business lender in the country. But here in Florida, for the first time as of this morning, for the first 6 months of this year, Wells Fargo is number one in making small business loans in dollars and numbers to people in Florida. And we've worked very hard to be able to accomplish that. Thank you. But in closing, here's what I would like to leave you with. This is not, I repeat, this is not about passing out checks. That's not what we stand for at Wells Fargo. There's always going to be money to provide, but it's also about what we do with our time, the volunteer efforts of our team members across the communities, much like here in Naples, that makes a big difference. So we're not about handing out checks and walking away. I want you to know that that's our commitment, and you can see that in our commitment of sponsorships with the NAACP. In fact, I've got some information here I think you might want to know about around our grant program. So in the next couple of years, we're going to give micro grants with NAACP to 24 of this organization's branches. Hopefully you've heard about this. 24. It can be from $1,000 to $5,000 to the state level branches for the NAACP. And get this, they can be from $500 to $4,000 to the college chapters of the NAACP. We want to use that money to promote economic development and financial education. And then last but not least, let me say, it's not about just one person. Actually, I have a number of members of our senior leadership team in the corporation and also inside of my region, Greater Gulf Coast, and in the local Naples market. I want to acknowledge them for their incredible work that they do for our organization as well. Thank you. Once again, thank you for being here, and let's keep supporting the NAACP and its great works. Thank you, Steve.
Thank you, I'm sure of that. Can we give our sponsors another round of applause for what they've done for us and our community?
That's good.
Please enjoy your lunch, enjoy the conversation, and I'll be back shortly to introduce our panel and get on with the program. Thank you very much. Good afternoon again, everyone. We're going to restart our program now. I hope that you all have enjoyed your lunch. It's been a wonderful lunch this afternoon and the great conversation and fellowship that we've had. We'd like to keep the program moving. We have some very, very special guests with us today to talk about advocacy and the entertainment industry. Unfortunately, Tanika Ray, who was scheduled to moderate our panel, could not be with us today because of a scheduling conflict, but a friend of the NAACP has stepped up and answered the call, and I mean literally. We called him on his cell phone, and he answered and said, absolutely, whatever you need me to do, I'm there. He's an MC, a community activist, and one of the rising stars in Pittsburgh's hip-hop scene. Following in the footsteps of such Steel City natives as Mac Miller and Wiz Khalifa, this brother brings a socially conscious message to his music, delivering hard-hitting edutainment in the tradition of such hip-hop greats as Public Enemy and Dead Prez. He garnered significant attention last year for his tribute track called Trayvon, and is featured in such diverse outlets such as All Hip Hop and the Huntington Post. He's a blogger, a social activist, and a straight-up down brother. Please welcome to the stage Jaziri X. Jaziri?
Thank you, Aristide, and I want to definitely thank the NAACP, and thank you all for being here. Give it up for yourselves for coming. I promise you this discussion that we're going to have about entertainment and advocacy is going to be enlightening, stimulating, and eye-opening. The title of the event is Where Are the Voices? A roundtable discussion on advocacy in the entertainment industry. From its inception, the NAACP has been an advocate to ensure the political, educational, social, and economic equality of the rights of all persons and to eliminate race-based discrimination. We continue that fight not only on a national scale, but globally as well. Using celebrities for advocacy and activism for civil rights and many other issues continues to be popular. Both the symptom and effect of this popularity is increased involvement of Hollywood celebrities, activists, and advocates in fundraising, and increased visibility of developing issues in the entertainment industry as a whole. Celebrity participation has become the lens through which we can shine a light to help better understand an issue or cause. So let's begin by introducing our esteemed panel. Y'all ready? Yeah. All right. Our first panelist is known for her amazing starring roles on Fox's K-Ville, Ant Farm, on Disney, NBC's The Cape, The Hughleys on ABC, and All of Us on UPN. And I'm sure all of you saw her recent amazing guest appearance on Scandal. Y'all watch Scandal?
Yeah. It's a scandal, just having it here. Yeah.
ABC still has people chatting and making her a trending topic on Twitter. Her newest series, Bells, is on TV One. Please welcome Elise Neal, y'all. Next, we have a man who's been nominated 3 times for an NAACP Image Award for his role as Justin Barber on The Bold and the Beautiful. He's also a star of the award-winning independent film Bluegill Avenue and the Oscar-nominated Babel. He will soon be starring opposite Gabrielle Union in the highly anticipated new drama series debuting on BET this summer, Being Mary Jane. Please welcome actor, producer, and poet Aaron D. Spears.
Have a seat, have a seat.
Our next panelist is a Goodwill ambassador to the Haiti Support Project. She has served in this role for 6 years and also works with at-risk youth in Compton, California on the board of the Positive Vibrations program. Her greatest passion is her work with homeless women and children at the Fred Jordan Mission on Skid Row in Los Angeles. We all know her from the Celebrity Apprentice All-Star on NBC. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Reverend Omarosa Benediction.
Go ahead, wave.
Next is an award-winning and celebrated actress. She has garnered critical acclaim in features such as Beloved, The Manchurian Candidate, and Diary of a Mad Black Woman. Her soul-stirring roles continue to strike an emotional chord, as y'all see, that pierce the very souls of audience members around the world. Please welcome the 4-time NAACP Image Award winner, Kimberly Ali.
My darling.
Now, I've been blessed. As everybody takes pictures, yeah. I just looked out and I noticed everybody was, yes, we have a wonderful, can we give it up for the NAACP for bringing us a wonderful panel? So, yeah.
Get mine too.
Instagram, y'all. So, I've been blessed to be personally mentored by the legendary actor, activist, Harry Belafonte. And yes, let's give it up. And, I was on the phone with him last Friday, and, he's been really, really charged up ever since he received the NAACP Image Award and gave the passionate speech that he did at the Image Award about what he feels is the responsibility that celebrities have to be activists and advocates for our community. We're going to take a look at part of his incredible speech.
They have been incarcerated. The overwhelming majority is black. They are the most unemployed, the most caught in the unjust systems of justice, and the gun game, we're the most hunted. The river of blood that washes the streets of our nation flows mostly from the bodies of our black children. Yet, as the great debate emerges on the question of the gun, white America discusses the constitutional issue of ownership, while no one speaks the consequences of our racial carnage. The question is, where is the raised voice of Black America? Why are we mute? Where are our leaders, our legislators? Where is the church? Not all, but many have been the recipients of this distinguished award. Many were men and women who spoke up to remedy the ills of the nation. America is the largest prison population in the world. And of the over 2 million men, women, children who make up the incarcerated, the overwhelming majority is black. They are the most unemployed.
So I want to start with you, Kimberly, because, somebody like Harry Belafonte, anytime he gets in front of a microphone, he feels it's his responsibility to be an advocate for, people that aren't able to really speak to that large number of people. Do you yourself think that, does a celebrity have a responsibility to be an advocate for our community?
Absolutely. I think that we're granted a lot of privilege and great blessing for the opportunities that we get and the roles that we get. I know that for myself personally. And you can't just take all of that and not offer it back in a greater way. For me personally, I can't even accept a role that isn't going to feed my community in some way empower my community in some way. But outside of my roles, or all of us, it's really a privilege. It's not so much a responsibility. We shouldn't look at it that way. It's a privilege. If I see something or cause an organization that moves me in some way, it's a privilege for me to be able to personally call them, and they'll take my call quickly, and I can contribute in some way that will hopefully resonate on a greater level and pull more people in to be involved. So for me, it's a privilege, and that's part of the deal. You get to have this great celebrity, and then you got to come back and do this for everybody else.
Now, Lisa, I want to come to you because, we see a lot of, whether it's Bono, whether it's George Clooney, whether it's Angelina Jolie, you kind of see, celebrities that are kind of known for attaching themselves to a particular cause or campaign. Can you talk about, some of the campaigns that you kind of attach yourself to or link your celebrity to, and really how that affects you and that campaign?
Definitely. First of all, I wanted to say, thank everybody for being here and showing your support in an organization that does so much for our community. And that is really what the question is. Being born and raised in Memphis, Tennessee, I personally was always so attached to St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital. My mother was a nurse for many, many years, then went on to teach nursing. And I had reached out to St. Jude's for 5 years with no response. And was lucky enough to be a panelist on Washington Watch with Roland Martin, who is an amazing individual, but also one of my closest friends. And when the questions about celebrity involvement rolled around, I spoke up about the fact that I had reached out many, many, many times to an organization that I felt that I would be great for, but had not gotten a call. Well, after it aired, and I was like, oh, I forgot I said all of that. I just spoke my mind about, how it touched me. My mom was a nurse, and this is why, I really wasn't just about Memphis, which of course that's where I'm from, and I big it up all the time. But, it's about helping kids and helping people. And that's what touched me about the organization. So to make a long story short, about 6 months later, I received an official letter from St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital, and I am now a brand ambassador for the hospital for the last 2 years. I feel like I'm a beacon of change and having a lot more celebrity support, and basically African American support. And I brought in Roland Martin, his wife Jackie. I brought in Lance Gross. I brought in Lamont Rucker, and they gave me a plaque like about 6 months ago for my service. The bottom line is, just like you guys are here today for the NAACP, and this is what moves you and champions you and makes you feel good to be a part of. You have to beat down the door of an organization sometimes, but don't give up. And make your voice be heard. And if they see your passion, if they see that it is touching you in some way, they will get back to you. And I get it, the George Clooney's, the Bonos, having those people be involved in the organization brings in money to that place. And you can't take it, all the way about your race, or these people are more, intelligent in their opinion than you, or could bring a better voice or image than you. You know what you have. You know what you bring to the table. I knew what I had. I knew what I bring to the table, and it's a lot of passion. So with that being said, if it's an organization, if there's a community effort, if there's a charity that you really feel that passion about, keep beating the door down, and you will be heard. And that's what happened with me with St. Jude's.
Now, Aaron, we know you kind of get down on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram. I was taking pictures with you or for you. Cameraman, just give me photo credit. Remember, recently Alicia Keys was on American Idol, and she asked people to text the word alive to raise money for AIDS, HIV research, and within minutes, she had raised millions. And so we see the power of digital media in action. Do you think that's the next level of celebrity advocacy? And do you have a responsibility, because you have thousands of people on Twitter and Facebook following you, to really begin to advocate for particular issues?
Twitter and Facebook and all of these other social media avenues, you really have to realize that when you sit down and touch that computer, or you pick up your phone and you start tweeting and you start giving all these social messages, you're touching the world. So it's a little different demographic than how it used to be back in the day, when you would do an event and it would be local, and it just kind of stayed local unless different publications picked it up. Now you have like this global responsibility or privilege, if you will. So I think it is a method that you can definitely use to bring attention to a various cause. You just have to be aware that when you're in your element outside of that cause and you decide you want to be Mr. Tweet and Mr. Facebook, and you open your mouth in an unconscious way, now you're affecting not only yourself, but you're affecting the people that you represent. So you take on a broader responsibility to where you got to be conscious. A lot of people are losing contracts, losing deals over things that are said. I want to be Mr. Rhythmic and I want to rhyme these words together, and I just so happen to use imbecile. Well, guess what? That's not funny to a lot of people. That's not a subject that a lot of people want to find in a song. So X you, Mr. Mountain Dew, give me my money back. Mr. Rick Ross, date drug, all of a sudden I'm going to rap about it. And yes, it's just something that, I'm speaking on, and it may not be true. That's a sensitive subject. There are people that have possibly been a victim of date rape. So now you're using issues that affect people's lives, and you're putting it out there for the world to see and the world to take in. So it's a large privilege. It's a large responsibility. Just know that you're touching the world. You're not just affecting the couple people that's following me here, because somebody's going to retweet that and somebody's going to Facebook that. And next thing you know, when you wake up in the morning and that drink you had 2 hours ago wears off, you're like, yo, maybe I shouldn't have said that. Maybe, and then you're giving all these verbal apologies, and like, apology really is a Band-Aid, because when you said it, that's what you really meant. I mean, you were buzzing, that's what you really meant. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, be very conscious of what you're saying and the people that you affect. Sometimes I don't realize that I'm affecting people when I'm tweeting certain things, and then you get some quote that you gave and how it inspired a person's lives. Like, for all of us, a lot of times we don't realize the effect we have on a lot of people, because you may be in your living room and you're watching, and I don't know what happened in your life when you saw that, and I don't know what you went and did after you saw it, but that makes it personal for you. So a lot of times, I think now when we hit these social media and these global social enterprises or what have you, you just got to be aware. You're in people's lives. You're in their living room. You're in their pocket. You carry your phone everywhere. You go to the bathroom, you got your phone. You sit on the toilet with your phone. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, I might have tweeted something that hit you when you was right in the middle of squatting. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, I don't know how that's going to affect you. So, yeah.
You bring up an excellent point, about how sometimes, you have thousands of people following you. You might put something on, when you put something on Twitter, I don't care how fast you delete it, it's really there forever, especially if you're a celebrity. And I want to come to you, Omarosa, because it's very trendy now to begin to use celebrities for these social issues. But like Aaron said, sometimes there's a downside. Can you just get into what could be some of the downsides to celebrities being involved in social issues? And then also, why don't you think celebrities get involved in social issues today, like they used to do in the past?
Well, let me just first say that to whom much is given, much is required. And so we are all very blessed to be in a business where we do reach millions and millions of people. We have to get back. It's not whether we want to, we are obligated and Bible bound to give back. A lot of what I do is based on my continuation of what I've already been doing. I grew up in a small Baptist church. We always we always had a soup kitchen. We always visited the sick and shut in. So it's an extension of who I am. People who are reluctant to serve never served. When they become famous, they never did it before, so they're not going to be inclined to do it once they get on that level. And so when you see people who, we are on Skid Row, we have a mission, We ask celebrities to come down on Thanksgiving and on Easter. Just come serve the folk. Let them see you. Let them touch you. I have watched celebrities recoil from homeless folks because they have never reached the people. They've never touched the people. They've never been around homeless folk. So you can't expect them to do something they have never done. It's asking a great deal. The challenge, however, is that a whole lot of folk want you to do a whole lot of stuff for you in the name of charity. I love to give because it's an extension of who I am, but I can't do it every single weekend of every single month because, we got work too. And when you say no to folk, then they bashing you. We invited her to come to our women's conference and she said no. Well, I gotta eat too, And so that's the balance of giving of yourself. I work with the program here in Haiti, and we go down. It's a big commitment. We go to Haiti 3 times a year. We're getting supplies and food, and we're trying to raise money. But they just recently sent me a letter saying that they want to go 6 times a year. That's stretching it. But you have to manage it as well. But you also, first, you have to have a passion for it. You have to have a passion for the people. You have to want to serve and understand why you're called to serve. And I believe it's a calling. Would y'all agree? It's a calling to serve people. And you said it right, Kimberly. It's a privilege when you get to come and meet with the folks at the Leadership 500 Rods. When you get to come and hang out with the folks, it's a privilege. It's folks that, I'm going to tell y'all, let y'all in on a secret. There's some celebrities that don't like people. That's why they don't want to take pictures with y'all. They don't like people. They didn't like folks before they were famous. They ain't gonna like you after.
So true.
They don't want you to touch them. They don't want to take pictures with you. And then you see folks like the folks who are on the stage. We love people. We were wobbling last night. Y'all wobbling last night? So, you have to understand what they were before they became famous is going to be magnified when they become famous. You shouldn't throw everybody up in front of your organization. That's all I'm going to say.
Now earlier, this is really for anybody on the panel that wants to take it. Earlier, our esteemed Chairman Brock talked about how here's the NAACP as an organization that has really advocated, to open the doors, for a lot of celebrities. So a lot of celebrities might not even have had the opportunities that they have now if it wasn't for organizations like the NAACP primarily advocating to open the doors for them. Then is it a responsibility for those celebrities then to give back to an organization like the NAACP? What are some of the things that we can do to make it more of a two-way street so it's not like, something happened to me on the job, I'm going to call the NAACP, but then maybe as a celebrity, what are some of the things that organizations can do to make it a more balanced relationship? And that's for anybody who wants to.
Well, I think it is. I think the NAACP, since we are here at the 500, has always been a place that any celebrity person of color can look to for guidance. I mean, they've been around forever and done such great things forever. I think as a celebrity trying to get the right person, just like I was speaking about, is the issue, Like she said, like Omarosa said, like everyone does not have that kind heart. And I think sometimes it's about taking meetings and understanding who is the right fit. What person, what group of celebrities is the right fit, is going to come in and create change, make change, have ideas, bring something to the table, not just show up and eat your food and go home, but take whatever that they're given that day and really come up with ideas and go help you and your organization or whatever organization go to the next step. That is the key to finding the right celebrities, And
finding out how to plug them in properly.
Exactly.
I was talking with Siobhan about getting involved with the clergy and, figuring out how you can get a health movement or get them plugged into what's going on with
what
youth.
touches them.
Finding out what a good fit is. And like you said, having a conversation with folk, I think really allows people to get involved. And then getting them involved locally. You're out of Memphis, I'm DC, LA. Even the local chapters come to you and say, can you help us with this and that? I think the local level is important as well.
I think it's also important to sort of put a positive angle on all this and recognize that a lot of people do want to serve and they do want to help and they don't know how or where to go. I mean, even celebrities, like you were saying, will make calls and reach out and don't hear anything back, or maybe they're shy. Just because you're in movies doesn't mean that they're outgoing and will be a good spokesperson, but they could be fabulous behind the scenes and really do want these opportunities. So I think if you have an organization out there, don't be afraid to pursue whoever it is you're interested in. You'll be surprised who really wants to help and is quietly helping. I know most celebrities are quietly helping in their own way because that's the best channel for them. So just don't be hesitant. You'd be so surprised who wants to help, who's looking for opportunities, who has amazing gifts in front of the camera, in front of your organization, behind your organization, who has further resources, who have friends that they can reach out to, who want to help and don't know where or how. So I think that is something that people think, well, they wouldn't want to be a part of this, or how can I ever get to them? And even like you were saying, don't give up as someone who wants to give, don't give up as someone who is pursuing a celebrity, because we don't always get the letters, we don't always get the calls, so find another avenue to get to us. Get on our Twitter accounts, get on Facebook, whatever, and because we're there, and we do want to help and give back and serve in different ways.
It is up. A lot of times, too, it goes back to education. If you're educated about the NAACP, how long it's been around, how many causes it has stood up for, you can then connect the links on how maybe that cause or that thing that they stood up and fought for is now connected to you and what it is that you're doing relevant in your community or in your life. But if I'm uneducated and unaware of what the NAACP stands for, then I can't make that connection. To me, maybe in your mind, it's some organization that was in the 30s, and guess what? I'm a youngster, I'm a hip hopper. How does that relate to me?
Hey.
You know? No, not in a negative sense. Not in a negative sense. But in speaking of that, I think a lot of times reaching celebrities too is finding out their other interests. Like, okay, don't get me wrong. We're actors, and that is what we love to do, and that is our passion, but that's also our job. But if you, like for me, for instance, if you're doing something that maybe you want to reach a younger demographic, well, I love doing spoken word. I love doing poetry, anything dealing with lyrics and words. So now that's already got my attention. So now I can reach you and reach those ladies and gentlemen in a different way where they are in the element of what they love to live within, the beat, the rhythm, the lyrics. So that's interesting. That's something new. That's something different. So now you're reaching that new demographic. I'm using whatever celebrity I have to bring attention to the cause that you're setting forth. But now we're all having fun. Now we're in our element, and that's something that's new and exciting to a celebrity as well. Besides just maybe the PSA, or, you know what I mean? It's something that we normally do.
Excellent point. Very good. Another person, and this is for all the panel as well. Another person who was extremely impacted emotionally by the NAACP Awards was actor Jamie Foxx. And here's Jamie Foxx, and one of the stances that he really took was in support of Trayvon Martin and his family and justice for Trayvon. And that's a very polarizing issue in America. So in some rooms, he's been criticized for that. What do you do as a celebrity, and how do you handle that criticism when you take a stance, especially for some of these social justice issues that might be polarizing along race and class, and then you get that pushback from people that might not understand, why you took that stance or what you're doing?
First of all, you can't have fear when you jump out there and make a statement. You got to stand by it, have some conviction. You mentioned the Trayvon Martin. It's interesting because I'm going to see Sabrina Martin this weekend. As a church, we've been supporting that family. We just do a simple offering, send it down to them, because folks don't realize they still have the trial is coming up and living expenses. Yeah. And so I guess I'm appealing a little bit to the pastors and the members in the church who care. But that cause is important. But when you find a passion that's close to you, you have to have a voice and lend your voice to it. But you have to be educated about it. You have to be educated about it. I'm going to say it again. I hear folks jumping out on topics that they're really not informed about it. The way to be effective is to be as informed as possible. And so when I listened to Jamie, I knew that he was on the front lines of the Trayvon Martin situation, and so I applaud him. I want to make one other note. You mentioned St. Jude's. We have a Sunday of Hope. I'm also a recruit of Elise because of St. Jude. We have a Sunday of Hope. And there's some simple ways that celebrities can get involved without a long-term commitment. All we're doing on Sunday of Hope is having a program where we also pass the plate, send the money to St. Jude. You can do a lot of those kind of ad hoc events. The Habitat for Humanity, where you come on the weekend, you build a house for somebody, you get to go home. So finding a way to invite a celebrity to come do something that is not as time-consuming, where they could come and lend their voices. And I agree with what you said, Kimberly, that also inviting them. If you send an invitation to me, and I could come and be a part of your event and preach, keep going, and it makes sense on that time, I'm going to respond to you. So I agree with what you said also.
But also, what you're saying, if you do come, do have your thing together. I'm serious, because we do get a lot of invitations and a lot of invites, and you kind of have to, if I have this thing and I'm trying to, and if you could maybe, that would, there's somebody else who has it all together.
Exactly.
And knows their cause, knows what they're doing, knows their program, knows what they want you to do, and that's what you're competing with. And if we have a tight schedule and we want to give, that's where we're going to go.
That's true.
So sit down, know what it is, like you're saying, know what it is, what your cause is, educate yourself on it, let us know what you want from us, and we'll be there.
Well said. Yeah, because you get a lot. You know, like we said, we have so many social media outlets now. I check my Facebook, I check my Twitter, I'm checking all these things, and there's always invites to help. And we try. If you care, you try. But it's going to be the one that has a great website, that has all their ducks in a row, and has a precise plan of what they want you to do.
Clear. Yeah.
That's the one we're going to go with. So that's a very great point.
And please cover the airfare. I don't want to be in the hole helping you out. I don't want to come in.
That's real.
Pay to get there.
That's really real. It's really real. Those are real things, and it sounds silly, but it's really real when you're asking for people to come in. If you do supply the airfare, if you do have a car that picks them up, if you do, and it sounds frivolous, but there's somebody else who's doing all that, and their cause is just as important.
Exactly.
So it's like, do as much as you can to assist the celebrity to come to your event, and it'll pay off in a greater way after you've made that initial investment.
And in this day and time, it's so true. You have access to celebrities like you've never had before. I mean, when you tweeting or Facebook with somebody, you literally are talking to that person, unless they have someone else handling it, but it still gets funneled down. We still actually check these things. We'll find out what's going on. But
the question on Twitter, do y'all follow back though?
I follow back.
I'm going to be honest. No, I don't always follow back now because but I'm being honest. You got to, it's an honest forum here. But I will see it. I will read it. And then if I feel like, everything is in a row, then I might find out what's going on.
Your Twitter game up, set your tweet game
I respond to all of I really do. I respond to all the DM, all the direct messages and all the messages on Facebook. I'm just kind of anal that way. I respond. And then I'll send it to the folks who handle it, but I like to see what's happening in that space. And I like to engage. So yeah, if you send a message to me on Facebook, I'm going to respond. And it might not be the response you want. Sorry, I can't do that for $2. But you'll get a response.
Make sure you got that airfare.
I don't want to be in, let me qualify. I don't want to be in the hole helping you. You know what I mean? I don't want to be down $1,500 coming to you. I'm not saying that to be just, as long as I break even. If I don't have to come out my pocket to come help you, then I don't mind coming and donating my time. But if you're asking me to pay from LA $800-900 to come and fly and be a part of your event, it's stretching it. Like you said.
I think you make a good point. I mean, you do a lot of charity work right now in Los Angeles, and if somebody is going to use your celebrity to fundraise, it's only fair. You know what I'm saying?
The least that they can do.
At least they can compensate you.
Exactly.
So, yeah. we understand.
We got stuff.
Moving on.
I'm there, Pastor.
So we want to take maybe 1 or 2 questions for the audience. Does anybody have a question you would like to ask? And you're gonna, if you do have a question, we're going to ask you to use your book. Yes.
Can you come to my community health center?
I'm there.
Seriously, the question is, how can we help? I think the question was raised from the NAACP perspective. What can we do to assist you in what you do, and to make life more easier for you as you're trying to expand your role or get more opportunities? Because we would like to see more Black and brown faces in front of and behind, directing across the gamut.
We were just talking about that.
Just talking about this. I threw my hand up because I work behind the scenes with AFTRA and SAG trying to get basic benefits for reality personalities. Y'all may not know this, that most, not me, but most reality stars don't get SAG-AFTRA union rights. They perform as at-will employees, and then so they do all of this, they get all those big ratings, and most of those folks aren't being paid. Like I said, that ain't me, but a lot of them folks aren't. And I'd like to see, and I'll bring this information to you all, just some support for all of the African Americans that you see, this insurgence of the housewives and the married to medicines and all these folks who are literally participating, creating all of these ratings, and they can't even go to the dentist. They can't even go to, and believe me, they call me like, oh, Marissa, I can't, and I try to support, but I'd love to sit and talk with you about that. In terms of content, and you and I have talked about this, about creating content and opportunities for more African Americans to present more positive roles. We've been kind of pigeonholed and boxed into roles that don't always give us an opportunity to do. People keep asking me, why do you do reality? Well, it's only like 3 roles, and these 2 are taking the 2 of them. So that only leaves 1, and Hallie got that. So yeah, I'm gonna keep doing reality. There's not a lot of opportunities for us, and so we have to create the content ourselves.
Yeah, and one of the things I have been doing, and that's what we were just speaking about, is own content. As an actor, you're working, and you get to a point, I feel like I'm at that point where now I feel like I have a Rolodex of people that I can create my own content well, and that's one of my goals. I would love to get your card, and we'll talk more about that. It's an open forum. Because, I'm sure she has great ideas. I mean, she's an amazing woman. She's an amazing woman. He's an amazing man. They will have great ideas, and we just need to sit and create these shows. You have to put it together as a team.
I agree. I think within our own community, we have an amazing studio production company. We have all the great actors, we have all the great writers, we have all the great directors, we have rich people, we have financing, but we're all in our separate corners doing our separate things. And what NAACP could do is help bring us together somewhere, all in one room with a common goal, and recognizing that we are all the talent, really, and they're sprinkling us here and there to benefit them. And also, how about we all come together and create our own stuff and utilize our powers within ourselves as our communities used to do. Now let's do it in the entertainment industry. We have it. We're all just all over the place serving others. So let's serve ourselves with each other.
Yeah.
I'd like to make a comment on that. At the end of the day, Sprite is not going to promote Coke. A Coke is just not going to end up in the Sprite machine. I don't care how much promotion you do. So we have to stop opening the refrigerator, keep opening the refrigerator expecting the sandwich to be there. Well, the first time you open the refrigerator, it wasn't a sandwich there. But then 5 minutes later, you go back and check thinking it's going to be a sandwich there. Guess what? There's no sandwich there. So we have to, don't get me wrong, continue to produce, continue to build content. But what happens is this, it's like an hourglass. There's multiple grains of sand that are now starting to build up on one side of the hourglass. But you have the same people controlling the bottleneck of the hourglass. So it's only going to be a couple of grains that's going to fall through. You're going to get a couple of Jamies, a couple of Will Smiths. I throw a couple of Cokes up in the soda machine. But if you push Sprite, guess what? You're going to get yourself a Sprite. So at what point are we going to create our own medium and stop knocking at the same doors looking for a response that you know is going to be there? So it's like you're dissipating your energy on something that's not going to happen.
And we have all of us to make that happen.
We got the Michael Jordans, the billion-dollar Janet Jacksons, the Oprah Winfreys. At some point, we have to create our own medium and then create content for that medium. Now you control the voice. Now you control the image, and stop trying to force someone
them
else
to make
your image,
of us.
to make your
We can
voice.
control our image.
Yeah.
Make our image
Very
the way we
true.
actually
It's
are.
like you got to take control.
I totally agree. Yeah.
Absolutely, and I think just to put a pin in that, we saw with like a show like Scandal, like how just people sharing it, talking about it, tweeting about it, how then it can make it become something that becomes like must-watch TV. And so the same way we did it with that, we can do it just like you said, when these artists like myself create content. As we share it, talk about it, tweet about it, Facebook it, and email it, now we have our own industry.
It's true. We're the most talkingest people. We can be just talking each other's up. We are powerful voices.
And we sit and we see, we are the people who go to the movies and see everything and watch everything, and we'll talk about everything after.
I remember I was at a meeting at a cable network and talking about doing programming and talking to them about a project, and they said, we'll look at that. We don't really have any of that type of programming, black programming, which is ironic because, and the studio executive, I think he forgot I was a black person sitting there. He said, because ironically, the majority of our audience is black and Hispanic. But anyway, blah, blah, blah. And so it's like, we are the consumers, and they're making what they want to make, and we watch it and keep having it made more. And then we're not happy with the way they're making it.
We should just have the NAACP pictures, We have our own studios, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Just saying.
Studio NAACP.
Right, John?
So we're going to take two more questions. I saw a question, this young one right here. Do you have a question? I'm sorry. I said, you have a question? No. Oh, the young one right here.
That's funny.
As we consider all the negative images that are out there, and I understand there's only so much you can you talk to us about how you are intentional about portraying positive images for our young people across the country?
Oh, that's a good one. When I first started on reality, they weren't used to outspoken, strong black women that tell it like it is. They were used to us kind of, okay, yes. When I sat there in 2003 and told Donald Trump what I told him and looked at him certain ways, the reaction was immediate, like, whoa, But now we have these strong leads, on Scandal where she running everything. She will have somebody killed in a blink of an eye. I love it. Fast forward 10 years, and then you have a strong character who is running things. It's interesting because I've watched reality kind of morph into the fighting and the pulling the hair. I ain't never got into a fight on reality. Ain't nobody ever touched me, thank God. But you see it and you instantly, we were just talking about the Married to Medicine fight. Oh, Lord. You see it and you go, whoa. Now, I will say this. I don't know where it's going to go from now, but I'm going to tell y'all who controls how much more of that fighting y'all see. All of y'all. Every time you click in to see Nene Sheree or whoever, it's the numbers that drive the content. It's the ratings that determine whether or not they're going to have another Basketball Wives Chicago and they're going to be fighting. Or let's do, Housewives of Houston and they're going to be fighting. Whatever you tune into, that's what you're going to see more of. It's as simple as that. You all control what's going to be seen and how it's going to be seen. In terms of consciousness, I just always wanted to give America an option of seeing the educated black woman who really is unapologetically ambitious. I don't apologize because, I went to 3 black colleges where they taught me to be a leader and not to be a follower. I don't have employee mentality, I have boss mentality. And when white folks see that, they flip out. So I've always, tried to present the sister that y'all, the sister that will just tell it like it is. Now, some of y'all might be like, oh, I'm like that in real life.
Really?
If you talk to me crazy and you come at me, that's what you get. I don't know about, she in the front row, amen. And then if you come at me a different way, I've always tried to be authentic with who I am. And I get sisters who come up and say, thank you for this, but I get sisters who are like, I don't like the way you represent us. I'm not, I'm me. And that's how I am. I can, So I have to just tell you that I've always tried to show, some opportunities for Black women to be anything other than that, cleaning lady or the weak babysitter or whatever the roles that we've seen in the last 20 years. There are sisters who are in corporate America, who are strong, who are aggressive, who are making things happen. And that's what I've always tried to show on The Apprentice.
Ironically enough, it is true that what you turn into, or tune into, I should say, is what they look at. Everything's ratings based. So what happens is the brainwash begins. So now I've brainwashed you to this particular level of acceptance. So now you become accustomed to that. So when something positive and great is splashed in front of your screen, it doesn't catch you.
It's too deep.
It's
too deep.
I don't want to think. But now that's causing me to rethink my whole life. You know what I'm saying? My stance on where I am, girl. And it's like, well, dude, you're asking for these things and now we're giving them to you and we're trying to stand up for them. And sometimes you got to take that job that maybe doesn't quite represent you the way you want because you need to feed your family. But then at the end of the day, you come back to that bread and that meat and that butter and you're like, I'm going to make this thick and right. And damn, you didn't even watch the joint. You didn't even go to the movies. What happened? You know what I mean? And then they use that as examples. Though it's only like one of two examples, I dropped 90 million on Red Tails and I only made back 60 million. Well, hello, when's the last time there's been a Black action figure with Black leads all across the screen and sci-fi and CGI and everything else? 60 million is a lot. I don't know what you're talking about, but we put it in. So, but you got like 25 crazy, quirky Caucasian movies that have come out that may not make any money at all, but you're going to keep making them. But see, that's your medium. That's your form. That's your stance. So that's what I'm saying in terms of the point of making a medium that we can stand proud of and we can control the content and the image and everything else that kind of goes with it. A lot of it's in your hands. A lot of it's the man in the mirror. A lot of us don't like to stand in that mirror and look at ourselves, but guess what? We've had to do it several times when asked to play certain roles and certain characters. So now at the end of the day, let's stop looking for the Martin Luther King. Let's stop looking for the Malcolm X. How about you be Malcolm? How about you be Angela Davis? And stop trying to, hang your hat on somebody else's coat rack. Hang that joint on your coat rack. And now you go out. You want to see change? Be change.
That's it.
I just think, at the end of the day, there's so many different levels of power, especially as a Black woman. The quietest Black woman in the room might be the most powerful at home with her kids and with her life and what she handles, but she still makes it happen. There's so many different levels to us as individuals, as Black people, that to me is what I feel we need to try and develop more of and let people know that, because that's what I used to watch TV and see, and which I would feel power from. Like, I understood when my mom would go to work and go teach and, be at the hospital till midnight, but still took care of everything I had to do and did it with grace. I want to see that on television. I want to see the different sides of us. There's a lot of this and that because that's where I'm from.
Right.
But then there's a lot of quiet power. And there's a lot of powerful men, women that do so many great different things, and bankers and like, these great people at Wells Fargo today. There's so many different levels to us that I would like to see more of that. And I don't know if that's, again, what we were talking about earlier.
Support it, though.
That's what I was going to say.
Put on the bankers, make sure you tune in.
Then you have to support it. You guys are really the catalyst to the change.
You're kind of our employers.
Yeah.
When you think about it.
That's
It's like you are giving us the assignment based on how you turn on your TV.
Yeah.
And that's fine.
Yeah.
I never really thought about that.
Excellent. So I'm going to go to this young man right here for the final question.
Power and influence.
We talking about power or influence, and so define the difference in terms of influence in our community.
Influence is powerful. No, I was just saying that influence is powerful. And so we're very powerful by default. And any celebrity who, doesn't embrace that you are a role model and you do affect how people, children and adults, move in the world is in denial. We are very influential, hence we are very powerful.
Everything is energy, regardless of whether you want to believe that or not. The energy that you hold can be dispersed amongst many to influence them, and hopefully that they will grow up to be powerful and have platforms that they can stand upon and give messages. But at the same time, you have to know when to take in energy, when to deflect energy. So all of that has to do with power and influence. So if you're an influential person, maybe you're more powerful at certain times staying quiet. Instead of always running your mouth, trying to fill the space. So how do you use your influence in a powerful way? And now once you become power, what kind of influence are you going to infiltrate amongst your community, amongst your people? Because our communities were very powerful before segregation. When segregation happened, a lot of things were taken from our communities and they were put amongst the elite, so to speak. But then, man, that Main Street used to be popping. You had all the jazz people, you had all the stores, you had all of these people that had crafts and things that they used. And now our community is dissipated because those things were taken out of them. So now I say, once you become powerful, decide how you're going to influence your community. Decide how you're going to influence yourself and influence the people that are closely around you, because then they become powerful. So I think your question is, it needs to be both. You need to understand the power and the influence of either, and the difference between the two, and then how you're going to direct your energy to affect those closely knitted to you, and those that you reach on a global perspective when you touch a computer, when you pick up your cell phone, when you open your mouth.
I think the most powerful and influential people are the folks sitting out there. I mean, I've talked about the ratings and the numbers, but it's really, really simple. If y'all want to see something or more of something collectively, Madam Chairwoman, you all can come together as an organization and say, we don't want to see any more of Evelyn jumping on the table and jumping off and fighting somebody. Or we want to see more of Oprah's Next Chapter. Collectively, as an organization, you all are the most powerful and influential people as it comes to programming for our folks.
Yeah, and NAACP, if y'all can do anything about bootlegging, that would really help. That would really help, because that's really messing up the numbers that we're talking about. It's really messing up the numbers. They don't think that we go see the quality films or support our work because everybody's passing the tape amongst themselves.
At the hair salon.
Self-destruction.
I literally was at a hair salon and somebody tried to come and sell me a copy of The Green Mile. Wow. To me. I got all the Michael Clark Duncan movies. I got this, that, and I'm sitting there like, do you understand what bootlegging does?
That's real. It's very self-destructive.
To the black actor, it is. It's very detrimental. They don't know.
They'll sell you your own movie.
Many times. This has happened many times.
Hey, I need you to sign this joint for me.
I got a hustle and flow.
Right.
I got a hustle and flow. At least can you sign the hustle and flow for me? Yes.
So we need some vodka, right? We need some vodka. Everybody, especially, you see, artists that have come to donate their time, their energy, their knowledge to this great organization, the NAACP. All of us then should make sure that we know what they're doing, what shows they're on, what they have upcoming.
Yeah.
Make sure we watch them, tweet it, email them, Facebook.
Yeah.
Let's give it up one more time. It's wonderful panel. Thank y'all.
Thanks for having us.
I'm going to bring back up my brother Aristide, and he's going to close us out with the benediction, or he's going to introduce. He said, don't put that up here. Let's just bring up Aristide with a round of applause, y'all.
Larry.
Can we give our panelists just one more round of applause? Thank you very much. We're going to right now go into the benediction. After the benediction, we're going to ask you to go as quickly as possible to the second floor for our breakout panels. Everyone's excited about that. We want to make sure we maximize that time. It's been a wonderful pleasure to be with you all this afternoon. Thank you so much. Thanks to our sponsors again for this benediction. Thank you.
Right, quickly bow your heads. Heavenly Father, we want to just say thank you. Thank you. Thank you again. You are so merciful. You've guided us through such a sojourn here in America. But here today, I feel the victory. I feel your presence and I feel the glory. And we all have come together and you've shown us once again that you and you alone are the creator of the heavens and earth. And for that, we just want to say as humble servants, thank you for this opportunity. Thank you for every brother and sister here. And more importantly, thank you for the truth, the vision, and the direction that they bring to us. In your name, we all say, amen. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Amen.